Buongiorno, buongiorno, buongiorno. Buongiorno a tutti e benvenuti a questo incontro. Vi ringraziamo di essere presenti. Oggi presenteremo un bellissimo progetto che ha tanti aspetti prismatici importanti da considerare. Desidero prima di tutto fare i ringraziamenti a voi che siete qui con noi, a Mido che ci ospita e ci dà questa opportunità, in particolare al Presidente Giovanni Vitaloni, che so essere persona sempre molto attenta alla solidarietà e alla cultura, e quindi grazie di cuore. Grazie ai nostri partner qui tutti presenti, Anna Maria Nicolini Peroia, vado in ordine di seduta, la professoressa Tavazzi della Milano Bicocca, coordinatrice del corso, Pietro Conti di Centrostile, Alessandra Girardi per Vanni, Patrizia Vitale per i Lions, Elena Battiello per Fondazione Cariplo, la professoressa Borando per l'Istituto ITIS Galileo Luxemburg e la grande anima del progetto, il professor Alessandro Borghesi, fisico di fama dedicato all'optometria, con onore e con gloria. Io sono Luisa Redaelli, ho dedicato molti anni della mia vita nel campo dell'ottica, occupandomi di comunicazione,
working a lot in the field of optics, and now I've been working in different universities.
Faccio parte di una commissione europea che proprio
I am part of a European Commission studying the situation of the youth in the transition phase from university to the labour market. But most importantly, I'm the coordinator of the optics and optometry course of the Bicocca University of Milan, and this is a great role that I received from Borghesi, and for this reason I always participate with great enthusiasm in the various projects. The graduation course was set up many years ago. It was the very first to be set up. At present there are 9 such courses in Italy, and what we're going to present today, Uniforyoureyes, is particularly significant in my opinion because it creates a bridge between our university students and the real world, so that they can immediately have a point of contact with the real world. This allows us to be useful to a society that is ever-changing and that leads to that increasingly leads to poverty. It allows us to provide consultancy and to give visual aids to those who, for different reasons, cannot afford them. We collaborate with Fondazione Cariplo that monitors the poverty situation at a local level. We will hear from Elena in a few minutes, and there are many applications and many requests. Borghesi will tell us something more about the initiative, but as I said, it's a very significant project. So again, thank you very much for being here. And first of all, I'd like to thank Giulia Rizzo and Riccardo Rolandi. Here are the people on the field, and a big round of applause to both of them. This being said, we also have among us the very first professor in optometry in Italy, Fabrizio Zeri. Thank you very much for being with us today. And now, let me hand over to Borghesi, who will tell us the story of Uniforyoureyes, with its mission and its purpose. I don't know if I will be able to say so many things. The initiative dates back to 2001 when the graduation course was set up. Uniforyoureyes is a word that the users of the project cannot pronounce. I don't know why we chose this name, but we've actually discovered that there is this peculiarity. It can hardly be pronounced. As I said, this project started when the first graduation course was set up. It's a university course, and when started, it needed teaching structure in line with the ministry regulations. But the teaching part, which is visible from the outside, is only the tip of the iceberg. Behind that, there's a huge, hard, very important work, especially as far as research is concerned. A university course without a research activity, without being supported by research, is not a true university course. And so after the first decade, when we focused on teaching, and this was already a very complicated work, well, after that, well, Milan has a very bad climate. So after this decade, we focused on creating a research study, a research center on optics and optometry. And Uniforyoureyes is based on this research center. The research center has been active for about 10 years. Articles are published in international journals. And this is what makes the center vital and active. Our researchers are active in the field. The research center has cutting-edge equipment, very interesting instruments. It is used by the students and companies alike, companies willing to carry out training and education activities. But we then realized that the research center could do something more. And we said, well, at the end of the day, our equipment comes from society, so it was paid through the taxes that the population pays. So we said, why don't we do something for our donors as well? And so we decided to dedicate one day a week, so avoiding research, training activities, and we decided to dedicate this day to the outside, to the rest of the population, so that the equipment could be used by those who needed it. And this is important, especially for the graduation course. Our students can see different patients because, well, in lab activities, our students look at each other. Well, they screen one another, but they're usually healthy. And the possibility of examining people coming from the outside, very heterogeneous, with different types of conditions, is extremely rich for their path and for the course. And this is, in our opinion, very important. And then we also have the chance of providing a service. We've realized that this service is needed. Our center, our activity has been going on for 3 years now. We hope and we want this project to last forever. It should become an institution so that people know that if they need it, they can resort to this center. The access is quite peculiar because it is limited to people in need. I mean, people who otherwise would not be able to afford a pair of eyeglasses or would not afford an eye exam to correct their eye deficits. We provide a very accurate eye exam. Well, the exam usually lasts 3/4 of an hour, and it is carried out according to the most modern standards. And then, if the patient needs a pair of glasses, well, they choose a frame. I think it's the air of Milan. It's not a matter of drinking water. So, as I said, if patients need a pair of glasses, they choose the frame. All the parameters are measured. So the application for the lenses is sent. The patients come back after 2 weeks. The glasses are assembled, tested, and then everything occurs free of charge. And we are very proud of that because we see such beautiful smiles that this pays off work. And this is a kind of a social activity. Well, you know, universities tend to live in a sort of ivory tower, which is totally isolated from the surrounding world. And with that, we can do something for other people as well with our research activities. We have created a sort of a supply chain, and well, here we have the entire supply chain represented on stage. Every single step and every person that you see here on stage has provided a contribution to this process, and I'd like to thank them all because it has been a great pleasure. And well, first and foremost, my university, which has given us this opportunity and funds a scholarship for our students as well. Thank you. Thank you, Professor. Let's now get into the core of this project, so how it develops and the main principles, the main social principles. I'd like to hand over to Abbattiello from Fondazione Cariplo, Program Officer, in particular project leader of the CUBI project, which monitors child poverty. We got a great contribution from the Cariplo Foundation. When the project started, we had different stakeholders, and for different reasons, we were not able to collect such a high number of people as Fondazione Cariplo is doing now. Well, our agenda is always very busy because the people that are referred to us by Fondazione Cariplo are many, especially children and elderly people, and this allows the center to carry out very targeted research studies. So let me now hand over to Ms. Abbattiello. We have a PowerPoint presentation to upload. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning and thank you. And thank you for the introduction. Many things have already been said, so let's start from the last mile of the supply chain, which is represented by the people. So let me spend a couple of words on CUBI and to explain how these people are referred to Uniforyoureyes. CUBI is a program launched by Fondazione Cariplo together with other stakeholders in 2017 with the purpose of fighting child poverty in Milan. that was a significant problem. So starting with poor families with children, the program aimed at implementing measures at a local level in order to support families in overcoming poverty. Kubi would not exist without the neighborhood networks. And these are our local organizations who are active at a local level. Fondazione Cariplo provides funds to the local communities, and Kubi and many other projects are possible thanks to the organizations that work at a local level. Kubi is in the municipality of Milan, and the municipality of Milan has always been very active with a fundamental contribution. In order to understand how to support this family, you need, first of all, to identify them, to locate them. And this is extremely difficult because there is no poverty map of the city of Milan. So thanks to the municipality of Milan, Fondazione Cariplo had the chance of analyzing public databases, and by crossing data, we managed to obtain a sort of a map of the poverty situation. We analyzed the databases of families with children having access to income support measures, for example. Once we identified these families, the foundation started a call for tender to identify the projects to support in order to help these families. This call for tender led to 23 recipes, as we call them, because each single neighborhood has its own peculiarities. The problem of poverty is a complicated one with catered solutions, and so each neighborhood required specific ingredients and recipes.
All visitors are kindly invited to do not leave neither bags nor luggage unattended in our exhibition area. Thank you.
So the 23 recipes covered 25 neighborhoods in the city, as you can see in the map, involving about 500 third sector organizations, ranging from social cooperatives, parishes, parents groups, because, you know, poor families often resort to the closest associations, which are mostly informal. These ingredients, as I said, are very different. There are some common ingredients, however. Let me just mention two of them. In each town hall, the project guarantees the presence of a social worker, which is a public employee from the municipality of Milan, who works hand in hand with the neighborhood associations, so acting as a link between the municipality of Milan, the public actor, and the local organizations, so the private sector. As I said, the public participation is key. Each neighborhood has a contact person who plays a very important role, because it allows us to liaise with the local networks, and they in turn can liaise with us. Throughout the years, as you can see at the bottom of the slide, we've managed to reach 50,000 people in the municipality of Milan, and half of them are children. Just a couple of numbers to give you an idea about the size of the Kubi program so far. I'm not going into the details of all of them because I do not have so much time, but one of the main focus points of the program has been food poverty. And with food support, we've reached more than 10,000 households. Here you see some of the indicators for the recipes that can apply to multiple neighborhoods. Networks work not only in an individual neighborhood, but throughout different neighborhoods, especially for food support, or as you can see in this project in collaboration with Save the Children, to support mothers, weak mothers and their children. This is the state-of-the-art of the Kubi project as of today, 2023-2024. The networks are composed of more than 460 organizations, and in this 1.5 years, we have 28,000 beneficiaries, 13,000 minors. The main needs that we identify when we talk to the local networks are housing, school support, help to access the labor market, also Italian language as a second language, especially because these people often come from other countries and Italian is not their native language. Here you see some measures. Well, as far as food poverty is concerned, this was the very first focus of our program. It's a primary need, and for this reason, we need to identify as many people in need as possible. During these years, the program has worked with Caritas, and we supported the hubs and other associations like a social market, EBVA. There people can go with a special card and vouchers which are allocated depending on the number of children. And in this social market, for instance, they can select the products to take, or they can accept food package in a traditional way. This is the network of the after-school activities. After-school activities are important for these families because children may have difficulties at school, and so the after-school activity is important to do the homework, and the operator there may realize that these children not only have school difficulties but also other problems, and thanks to the network, problems can be better solved. As of today, the after-school network encompasses 215 spaces in 9 city networks for the support of a high number of children. Let's come to us now, because one of the topics that could be dealt with was and has been health, especially in those sectors that can hardly be afforded by these families. One of these is, for example, dental prevention. in collaboration with the Buzzi Foundation and with the University of Milan, could be opened 2 screening centers where families with children can go to submit their children to a dental exam by university students, and in serious cases a treatment can be instituted. And now, as you heard from Professor Borghesi, 1 year ago, Kubi came into contact with Uniforyoureyes because Professor Borghesi had the equipment, the spaces, the resources, the competencies, the skills, but he did not have the possibility to reach the people, and Kubi was very effective as a link because the neighborhood networks can reach a lot of people, as we saw before, and these people have many different needs. So we started this collaboration, which has now become established and very successful. It is now a steady collaboration. Kubi operators collect the various needs at a local level. We have a shared calendar, a shared schedule where the social workers can enter the specific need, the contact detail of the families, with remarks. For example, the child needs spectacles, he cannot see very well the blackboard, and then at the University of Bicocca, in the project spaces, these families with these children are welcomed. The children are subject to an eye exam, and when the glasses are ready, they are contacted again. So you see how the calendar works. Every week is dedicated to a specific neighborhood, to a network, and the appointments are entered for that week, and highlighting any other free space for other neighborhoods. And let's say this system works pretty well. 39 days of visits for 246 people, 253 children, and 192 eyeglasses, and 98 to children. So this has a great impact on the life of a child or of a person in general. In conclusion, let me share with you some stories that from the different neighborhoods. So one from Giambellino and the other from Lambrate. I'm not going to read them. You can read them, and you can well imagine how important this project has been for the life of these people. So thank you very much, Professor Borghesi, and thank you to all the people involved in this project.
Thank you so much, Elena. The documentation is available if you want to consult it. If you want to read the documentation, please ask us. We will be happy to send it, and so that you can have the real substance of the initiative. Well, it's now time to thank our partners. It's a great pleasure to give the floor to Alessandro Girardi from Vanni, our historic collaborator from this point of view. Some years ago, when Professor Borghesi told me, if you can please show the slide, the double slide with a double image. So there was a need for frames, and I immediately thought about Alessandra and her company. It was the first company, benefit company. This is highly significant the pioneers of a process that seems to have started. And I know that Alessandra and her family devote so much attention to such themes, and they participate with so much enthusiasm. Thank you so much, Alessandra, for your participation and presentation. Thank you so much, Luisa. And I should thank you at this point. All of this wouldn't have been possible if Luisa hadn't established a network of contacts. When the colleague spoke about ingredients, we have so many ingredients. There's the yeast put in by Professor Borghesi that made the project possible, engaging the university students, workers, research centers. It's a great pleasure to be here to speak about this project at Miro. We did want to be here. It's a great pleasure to be here at the place where we meet the world of eyewear, together with all the various sectors. And with Luisa and Alessandro, we have a dream that this type of collaboration may be replicated also in other cities and other places of our country. Not just our country, there are similar initiatives outside of Italy. I see amongst the audience students. We have students from Lagrange Institute, Turin, Plana Institute, and also University Degree Optometry, University of Turin. And I'd like to give the floor very briefly. The idea is to speak about the project. Not we as a company is what we do, because you can discover it easily, but the reason why we're here.
Perfetto, grazie.
Just 2 words. I'd like to give the floor, and I'd like to ask you, who, as companies that participate in the project, the beautiful side of the project, it involves university foundations and a set of partners, that is to say companies. And which are the motivations that led you to be engaged in the project, also from an ethical perspective, and how do you contribute to the project by making available what? I'd like to give the floor to Pietro Conti from Centro Stile, and he was invited thanks to Morena Baggio, and Alessandro said we need frames for kids, and we worked on a project for Africa. We thought about you, and the reply was enthusiastic. Why, Pietro? What caught your attention? Thank you so much, Alessandra. Thank you so much for having me. And for us, it was immediately a pleasure to take part in an initiative, and as was said, the initiative has values to share that we share as a company. Our payoff is represented by the concept around people, and we're happy to carry out such an initiative, and we share the values of it, and it's beneficial. And what to give to the project? Well, by reading against numbers, I was surprised. 153 minors visited, and 98 frames provided. It's a very high percentage. If I'm not wrong, 42 that before didn't have a frame, and they were not carrying a device to see. And that's the reason, basically. Yes. And I would say that the efficacy of the initiative responds to the question. Sorry, Alessandra. This figure is important because a child that doesn't see well doesn't learn. That child has difficulties to study, It's extremely important. I should add nothing else. Secondly, I forgot to say it before, there are intangible values that are so important, and the contribution given by our partners is in terms of intangible values, ethical, moral values, determination to give a contribution to society, and material assets, the material they give. And but in today's world, as volunteers, we need to provide an ethical contribution, and otherwise there's no progress.
Grazie. Passerei la parola ad Anna Maria Nicolini.
I'd like to give the floor to Anna Maria Nicolini from Hoya, and all of this wouldn't be possible, and frames would be of no use if good lenses were not assembled. Anna Maria, what involved you? A high sense of purpose to contribute to the progress of society, and what you provide as a tangible asset.
Ma allora per noi lavoriamo quotidianamente secondo i principi di un.
We work on the daily basis on a project, one vision. It is based on 3 pillars of sustainability: the environment, the community, and the work environment. As for the community, we're excited to be part of this project, Uniforyoureyes. We want to provide a vision, top quality vision solutions to everybody, and irrespective of their financial resources. We liked this project. It has a twofold objective. First of all, community, to do something good for the community, but we also appreciate training. And we know that an important challenge for optical centers at the moment is people. And the fact of training people on the field is really very important, as was said by the professor.
Tu dici giusto, formare ovviamente.
It's right. Training professionals and giving back to the community. That's what you say. That's why I'm happy here to have the youth. Now the floor to Patrizia Vitali, Communications Manager, Lions Club, an association that you all know that for years has been dealing with vision and eyes. Yes, we are an international association present all over the world, 1.5 million members, volunteers. Vision Sight represents our birth. We were set up at the beginning of the 20th century. In 1925, a challenge was launched by a blind person, and he asked the Lions to be their knights of light. And in a world of darkness, our history begins like this: dogs given to the blind, and also participating in Uniforyoureyes. It's perfect for our DNA, and it's a socially ethical project. It's part of our mission. We, as a club, supported the purchase of a device that is used to measure the vision of children. And every Saturday morning, we have amblyopia visits for small children that may have this problem. We volunteers and also our optometrists, orthoptics, that check the problem. Thanks a lot again to Professor Borghesi that wanted us on board again, and we are here again. We participated before COVID. We hope we can go on in our collaboration. We are fully available. Thank you so much. Alessandro, incredible guests. Thanks to your energy, we put together such experts. I'd like to give the floor to Anna Morando, professor from Galilei Luxembourg Institute, school manager, and diploma for opticians. You cooperate for a piece of the project. how were you involved and why, and how do you operate? Thank you so much. We're extremely honored to participate in the growth of this very important project. We are Galilei Luxembourg, a historical school of optics in the city of Milan. It was set up in the 70s, and our department is the historical heart of the training curriculum, and we have our students and they work and study, and our teachers, Professor Speziale, I'd like to mention her on behalf of everybody, historical figure of our department, a department that immediately accepted with great enthusiasm the possibility to take part in the project. In terms of activity in the field, practical experience for sure, and also the link with the territory. We are part of the QB network, and we're part of a complex context of the San Siro neighborhood in Milan, and we know how important it is, together with training, research, and work in the field, to keep contact with the territory live. And these are the features of our institute, also an entity for inclusion. And inside our school, we have users that reflect the complexity, but also the beauty of the city of Milan. And by our own nature, we had to say yes to this project. Thank you so much, Professor. Thanks a lot to Università Bicocca for examinations that enable to exercise the profession, and we hope that this project can be carried out in future years as well. Thank you so much. And I'd like to mention Beatrice. They're not present today, but they contribute to a grant for all of those that actually follow the project at the Bicocca University. Now, may I add something? We didn't say why we are present. We're present because also a benefit entity and proximity is key. And it was proven by the pandemic vicinity to people, and allowing everybody to live better. We believe that visual well-being should be a 360-degree type of well-being, and I've seen how you work and seen people receiving eyewear, eyeglasses, fragile people with economic social difficulties, and getting out with a wonderful top-quality pair of eyeglasses, and they feel well with themselves. They feel beautiful and pleasant at sight, and feeling well. It's a small contribution. It may be marginal, but it contributes to a piece of 360 degrees of well-being. Thank you so much. It's true. People that enjoy this service are people that, first of all, meet Giulia and Riccardo, that are smiling, embracing, and especially they had vision examination, call it as you wish, top quality examination, because it's an extremely in-depth visit, and common people who do not know what optometry is don't usually receive such a visit, and then they leave with top quality eyeglasses. It's something that gratifies not just the well-being, but also the soul. It is gratifying people fully. The university degree in optics optometry is one of the most performing university degrees amongst the many proposed in Italy. I see it from Alma Laurea statistics, and also statistics processed by the Ministry of the University percentage of graduates finding a job first year after degree, it's one of the highest, apart from health professions that are in high demand today. So it's a university degree that gives a good chance to find a job. And over the first few years, graduates find a job in optical centers, and today instead the trend is changing, and there are increasing percentages of graduates that are employed at the companies of the optical center, or that even develop their own professional activity, despite the legislative difficulties for this recognition of the profession that we hope will occur. And however, this profession offers so many possibilities, and especially the employment opportunities are good. And from this point of view, it's a great pleasure to give the floor to Professor Silvia Tavazzi, a physicist and optometry based on physics, science of materials at Bicocca. She's the course coordinator. She will tell us how the course is structured and the curriculum inside the Università degli Studi Milano Bicocca. Thank you so much, Silvia. Thank you so much. You said so many things. I will try to just add some details without repeating myself. To speak about the context where the project is included, it's a twofold context. On the one hand, you have the university degree, and on the other hand, there's a research center. That's a classroom that we like the most, where many graduated, roughly 600 and former students graduated. I see them here in the halls, so many of them working in companies and doing this job in optical centers. And just like we said, there are 9 other courses, more than 2,000 graduates at the moment. At Milano Bicocca we have 7 areas. Each university has got its own soul. In our case, these are the areas. We're part of the green area of sciences. It was defined as faculty of mathematical sciences, and as you can see, I wrote on the top we have 77 university degree courses in all the areas, and specifically science, 11 3-year university courses, and more than 30,000 students, 37,000 students. And we're lucky to have so many colleagues dealing with so many disciplines, and interaction allows us to take big steps forward. What do we do in the university degree course? Well, basic subjects which are fundamental for a university degree course in scientific domain. It's not a university course in mathematics, chemistry, it's applied physics. And of course, you have basic notions that are necessary for all of the rest, but the soul is what you see at the bottom. Optics, basic optics, optometry, ophthalmic optics, physical optics, optometry, contact lenses, and materials, optical properties of materials used in our sector. We tried to improve over the course of years. We hope we can improve further and get closer to this world of applied physics, because obviously when we were set up, we came from another world of optics, and gradually we improved. There are theoretical courses of optometry, contact lenses, and much more. And what you read at the bottom, let's use the typical words of the university. You have integrative courses. It's used in universities, this term, biology, anatomy, histology, human eye physiology, psychology, and teach at the university degree course. And one subject from medicine, principles of eye pathology. They give an idea. We try and train optometrists. We know it, not medical professionals. They should have mastery of basic notions of diseases, even if they do not tackle diseases. And so the COMID Center acts hand in hand with the university degree course, and teaching labs are on the one end of the building, and I like to start from the left. The person that you see on the left, she's a would-be PhD. An optometrist, she graduated outside of Italy, and she joined our group as a would-be PhD. And Riccardo Lorlandi, we heard about him. I do not remember specific figures. He's 591th graduate of Milano Bicocca. Then you see me, Erika, a biotechnologist. She deals with tear film. Giulia Rizzo, number 500. It's easy to remember as a number. Then Professor Borghesi, number 1. And Fabrizio, our researcher. We are super proud of him. First researcher of optometry in applied physics.
E infine Alessandro Duse, che
And to end, the student on the right has a grant at the moment, Alessandro, 458. And what do we deal with? Research. If you go to the website, you can find our publications and projects. We are researchers, and we must inform the university about our research activity and publish screening and visual analysis on the territory and training with companies. And as for these 2 points, we involve students trying to be an applied course, interacting with the territory, with companies, and the world of labor. That's how it should be. It's not theoretical.
gli screening e le analisi visive.
Then screenings and analyses, and especially with Uniforyoureyes. This is just an example, but they play a very important role. Now you see some pictures of the laboratories, and I will then go back to the screenings and the eye exams. Here you see retinograph, a barometer, so screenings and various activities. This is not Uniforyoureyes. This is what we do with the CUS Bicocca. We carry out screenings within the framework of another project. So Giulia is there, and we have other students. In this case, we've worked with the Department of Medicine because there were patients with cardiovascular conditions, and so they were in charge of the cardiovascular part, and we of the eye conditions. So they are also very much interested in the analysis of the fundus because it is important for them to predict the cardiovascular risk, and that is the reason for starting a collaboration with them. And then we have the collaboration with Uniforyoureyes. Our students work with Riccardo, and well, the students carry out activities. We recognize we acknowledge the number of hours that they have to collect within the 5 years. And it's a sort of internship or period of practice at a hospital or in a company outside or within our institute. in one of our projects. This is the protocol. I'm not going into the details of it. Riccardo knows certainly more, and this is what is usually done in the 45 minutes of the visits, and these are the numbers. So between 2021 and 2023, numbers are slightly different because we are considering different periods. But you see that about half of the people are children. And let me close with this slide. Milano Bicocca means both graduation course and research center. If you're interested in a graduation course, our course, or any other course, you should have a look at the syllabus of each individual course. We have, for example, an e-learning page, but the same applies to all other graduation courses in optics and optometry. In the e-learning website, there are pages that can be accessed freely, and you can better understand what you are supposed to do and what is taught at this course. So many people say, for example, in our case, that there's too much physics or too much maths, but this is not the case. Of course, the two subjects are included because they are needed in order to tackle from a scientific viewpoint the profession, but it's not too much. So this is it, and here you see my contact details. Thank you, Silvia. Thank you. We are perfectly on time. However, we have time for a question, if there's one. I will be very quick. So I'd like to thank you wholeheartedly. For the first time after 2 years, I do not feel alone. 2 years ago, I started the Occhialeria Sociale, and I see a lot of myself in what you described. Where are you based? I'm based in Genova, and now we are in Genova, Pavia, Turin. So please come one day to our university so that we can exchange our views. Your name is Gino Repetto. Okay, so an official invitation from the sponsor of the course. Please come to see us, and so that we can have a conversation and see whether there are the conditions to start something together. So thank you very much. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for all the people involved. This is an initiative that we strongly believe in, and I'm sure it will be a success in the future as well. Thank you very much.